Well, hello. My post is a little late today, and before I get started, I want to remind you guys to go to my website at www.gorgeousdre.com and go download my new movie, Master of the Game, and also my book, The Road to Paradise, is available. And for you that knew before I went to the feds, I was doing music, so I also have the soundtrack to my movie, Master of the Game, which is also available. So, what I want to get into today is um, I want to talk about, you know, uh, some issues with a lot of females, not just females, but males also. But I want to talk about the female side of it. Uh, you know, Sometimes as I'm, looking through my Facebook page, I'm always seeing, guys in the game in particular talking about that they don't like any black women and they looking for a white girl or um, as if the black girl is inadequate, to participate in the lifestyle, that you guys are living or participating in an outcome that you guys could have together. Well, I think what I want to talk about today is um, and the reason why I want to talk about it is because I was lecturing at this university one time, and one of the students asked the question, you know, uh, you know, why is it that they see predominant amount of white women with these quote unquote pimps and not as many uh, black girls? So I told them, I said, well, a lot of the guys have preferences because maybe growing up, they never, experienced or had an experience with a white woman. A lot is curiosity, and some of them just frankly feel that a white woman, has more access to money. But let me get into the ideology of really, the issue and the problem of, a black woman versus a white woman. And me and my father one time was talking, and we start talking about this subject, and he was saying to me, when a white girl grows up and she walks in her community or her neighborhood and she looks around her community and she sees the banks and she sees grocery stores and businesses, she sees all those things owned by white people. And and 9 times out of 10, this white girl probably knows somebody rich in her family. So when you tell her, look, baby, let's go make $1 million, she say, let's go make two. But she's familiar with money being accessible to her as a white woman. Now, when you see a black girl grows up and she's walking in her neighborhood and she looks around and she sees all the things and she sees all the grocery stores and the businesses, she knows none of those are owned by black people. And 9 times out of 10, she don't know nobody rich in her family. So when you go to her and you ask and you say to her, hey, baby, let's go make $1 million. She said, how are we going to do that? So my experience in dealing with black women in the game is I first have to let them understand why they can achieve anything they want to achieve, and it's almost like, well, it really is introducing a new life to them. I remember having a girl that I had got from a different guy, and when I got with her, I took her, to a designer store, and wanted to go, fit her in a nice outfit. it was important to me that she looked the part because she was representing who I was at the time. And so she felt so uncomfortable going to get that $1,400 Terry Mugler sports coat. And she said to me, I'll just go and just go down to the swap meeting, go get me some stretch pants and all that. I said, no, you're not. And I could remember, you know, that look that she had in her face. And I told her, I said, now look, if we're out here taking chances and we're out here doing more than the average square and we're not having more than the average square, then we need to go get a square job. And so it took a process for me to get her to believe that she was worth that. And eventually, when she began to believe it herself, she began to make a lot more money. It's just not black females. There was a situation I had one time that one of my girls was working, and at the time I wasn't taking any interviews. I didn't need any other girls. I was cool with the crew that I had. But she kept talking to me about this white girl, and I won't mention her name, this white blonde girl, and how she might be an asset to what we're trying to do. And so I kept telling her, I'm really not interested, but I tell you what, put her on the phone. So she put the little broad on the phone, and I said, listen, I have one expectation of you. You've got to want everything. You have to want everything. And the white girl said, I want everything. I want everything. So I said, I'll tell you what. You get the driver and let him drive you up to my house. At this time, I had a mansion in San Francisco. I was living in Forest Hill, overlooking the city. So she got a driver, because what they would do, they had their own personal taxi drivers back then at the day, in that time. So she took the taxi driver with my girl back up to my house. And so my house was 3 levels. So I was on the 2nd level, and the door was in between the bottom level and the 2nd level. So, my girl came in, and I'm waiting at the top of the stairs for the white girl. So the little white girl came in, and my girl Keela said, okay, baby, I'll see you later. So I said, okay. So the little white girl walks up the stairs to the 2nd level, and she pauses and she looks around, and she said to me something I'll never forget. She says, I thought I wanted everything, but I don't. I said, I understand. Have a nice life. And she ran back down the stairs and got back into that taxi cab. So, the travesty is that people say they want everything, but inside of them, they don't believe they deserve it. You see, people accept what they believe they deserve. And so, in the game, there's so many different levels of the game, and it's just not with the female either. It's also on the flip side with men, or with the males. If you have a little cat from the ghetto and all he has is a ghetto mentality and ghetto vernacular, that's all you'll ever be. You'll be nothing more than what he knows. And if all he knows how to do is smoke some weed and buy a few little clothes and buy a little nice car while he's living in an apartment or a hotel, that's all you'll ever be. In my dad's time, men were Renaissance men. They prided themselves on being informed, self-educated, avid readers. And it wasn't a hard thing for me to follow in the footsteps of, living that type of life, of finding value in knowledge. Because it was that knowledge that I had that elevated me above the majority of the guys in the game. I'm not saying that to pop my own collar. I'm just naturally saying the more you know, the more informed you are, the better opportunity you'll have at the big money. Because you'll know what to say to your female in order to give her access to those doors. Some of you guys would teach a little girl something, and before she even hit the stairs, they shut the door in her face. Now, I'm not saying any of this to give you a roadmap or blueprint to promote pimping or hoeing in any capacity. But I'm saying it to you and expressing these things to you to let you know that it's more than what you're doing. When I went to prison and I sat back and I thought about all the things that I had achieved and all the things that I had done in my life, I wasn't mad at all. I just did my time like a soldier. I felt I had accomplished magnificent, great feats, and I did. But some of you guys are taking those same chances and end up in prison, having accomplished nothing, female and male alike. And you'll sit up there and you'll look at all you gave up, which is your life, for nothing, for a pair of shoes or maybe some jewelry. Cars wasn't the most important thing to me. I was into having homes. Oh, I had beautiful cars, but my houses, those mansions, were far, far greater than those vehicles that I had. Back then, there were guys that had big body Benzes living in hotels. That's right. And most of them are probably being leased. I remember when I went to Hawaii and those guys up there, a lot of them were just leasing their vehicles, and I shipped my Benz up there and shipped it back because I owned it free and clear. I used to always say, there's no leasing this pimping. Anyway, as I close, just wanted to shed a little light on the travesty, I think, of the game. And maybe if you reassess where you are in your life and stop lazy pimping, maybe if you start being interested in educating yourself, it'll be better for you and your woman, not just here in the game, but in life in general. Have a wonderful day.